Digital marketing in 2024. Hey everyone, Julien here, nurse practitioner for Dan Aesthetics Medical, and today I'm doing Instagram Live with the one and only Rick O'Neill. He's a buddy of mine that I met at a couple of conferences, and I really got to know him well whenever we were at the Inner Circle. And he is the founder and creator of LTF, which is Look, Touch and Feel. It's a creative digital marketing agency, and really he focuses on medical aesthetics providers. He's focused on businesses that deal with medicine also, and also even wellness. He just wrote a book on it. This is his book, Black Belt Digital. I just read it. It was awesome. And there's a whole bunch of things that I'm not doing yet in here, which is cool because I've been very focused on just mostly social media. But he gives you really in-depth information about your brand and how to utilize Google businesses and just a platform of how to get more people to your business in the local region. And that's something that I really need a little bit of work on. So if you're in the medical aesthetics industry, you're definitely going to want to listen to this because this is all about helping you grow your brand. You can take all these conferences all you want, but if no one's coming because people don't know who you are, then that just emphasizes how important this is. So let's bring in my man, Rick.
Hey, Dan.
Rick, what's going on, buddy?
Good to see you. How are you?
I'm terrific, man. How are you?
Sipping and spilling some tea.
Nice. So tea over there. That's right. You're in the UK. That you guys definitely do your tea.
We're in the UK. We've actually had sun today, which hardly ever happens in the UK. So I was going to join with the Ray-Bans. They don't come out very often in the UK. No. It's quite a rare occurrence.
So are those the Meta Ray-Bans?
Yes, they are, yeah.
But you can get those with the transitional lenses, right?
Yes, yeah, you can. These ones I take on vacation. So the little cameras in the back there.
Yeah.
You can wear those on roller coasters. You can use them on when you're quad biking and things like that, and create some really cool content for your holiday.
The only thing for me is that, and I think it only takes up to like 30-second videos or something like that, right?
Yeah, there's a second version, and you can get a little longer, so you can make slightly longer videos.
Okay, cool. I think I'm going to look into that because, yeah, for me, it's a little bit more long form content, but to be honest, I just have to get into it and try it out. Welcome, brother.
Great to see you. It feels like a lifetime since Switzerland, but it was like, 4 weeks ago?
Yeah, I know things have changed already.
So much going on.
That's crazy. I read your book, man. It's great.
You read it? A real page turner, isn't it?
Well, it's good. The thing is it's because it highlights all these things that I'm not doing. So for me, I've been so focused on, really my online presence with, really growing my brand on YouTube, trying to reach the universe, where your book really gets down and dirty in the details of understanding like how, if you're a business owner, how to get people in your region to come see you, right? And I've been having that conversation with Michelle too recently. I'm like, listen, one of our friends actually, we were playing tennis and he's looking at it, he's like, let me just Google you guys, see how you do, because he has his own business, so totally something different. And then he Googled us to see where we ranked, and I was like 40th on the list below, and I was like, how is this possible? Because I have such an online presence, and also Google and YouTube are tied together. And we thought we had a great webpage. We never look at it. It's just kind of like a very slick looking webpage. However, there's clearly a lot of work that we can be doing, and like your book basically highlighted all these things.
I'm going to tell you a secret.
Sure.
I did all of that as well, the same as your friend, and I was surprised. If ever there was a more clear example of like all in on social and YouTube, but nowhere else.
So that's exactly what happened, right? So, and it was funny because after that, recently I just ended up going to another medical aesthetics conference, and there was a panelist for speakers, and one of them was all about posting on Instagram. And then there was another one who was really focused on, his brand online, but also he focused a lot on SEO and analytics about his business and how to grow his webpage. And he was, in Abu Dhabi, and I think he's ranked number 4 there, and they have twice the amount of medical aesthetic clinics as Brazil. So that just kind of gives you an idea of how much work he puts into it. And basically, I was somewhere in the middle because I had a website, but not really paying attention to it. And then after that, I was kind of really all in on my Instagram and my YouTube. But it's funny because the other person who was presenting, she's like, I don't even have a website, which was really interesting. I mean, she does really well, but at the same time, I think the whole idea is it's not like one or the other is right. It's more or less like, imagine if you did both of them really well.
That's my main kind of gospel message that I take out there is don't rely on any single platform, because that's a high risk strategy, right? So you should have presence and a strategy on 4 or 5 different channels. We can cover off what the kind of core building blocks are But that's the kind of main message that I take out there, because I've seen instances where if you're all in on one single platform, doesn't really matter what it is. I mean, usually it is Instagram, right? If everyone's all in on that, then it's kind of high risk for a few reasons. One, it depends solely on you busting your ass to post every day and create content. And when you slow down, it slows down. It's a platform that you don't actually own. So it belongs to Meta, not you, right?
That's right.
And sometimes bad things happen. Accounts can be hacked, or there can be big outages, or some people have had their accounts kind of held to ransom, and all of your activity, all of your marketing, all your inquiries are coming from that one single channel. That's a big risk. And there's another factor that I've been just talking about today on a coaching call, which is if you are looking to exit your business at some point and your entire inbound inquiries for new patients rely on one channel, which in turn relies on you being there all the time, then your business is not worth as much as you would hope. It's about having these other channels and systems in place that can drive new patients to you when you're not there, and when you're asleep, or when you're treating patients. And that's really the thing. But it's not do this instead, it's do all of these 4 or 5 things in concurrence. Not necessarily you personally. If you're a solo practitioner, you might want to do some of it yourself because you're not at that stage where you can kind of delegate everything. But it's about at least understanding what these other channels can offer you, and then just taking the baby steps. So like you probably saw in the book there, I'm trying to make it plain English, and every chapter at the end has like a checklist, things to do. And that was very deliberate. I mean, I'm impressed that you've read it start to end, but actually it was kind of designed as a reference book. So you can come back to it whenever and you're like, okay, I need to figure out how to rank better in Google. So you go to that chapter, you get the broad context, and then you follow the checklist, right? So that's what it was designed to do, was kind of break it down, because for the last, I don't know how many years now, I've been coaching aesthetic business owners, as well as in the agency, we obviously do a kind of done for you thing. But on the coaching side, so many people are kind of a bit lost in this area, and a bit stressed, and a bit also suspicious of it as well. Maybe they had a bad experience, or there's just a bit overwhelming for them. So like my whole thing is breaking it down into plain English, baby steps, checklists, and things that you can do in a couple of hours a week in some of these cases. That's what I think people need, because the vast majority of people in positions like you and people who are just getting started, they've worked usually in a public health system for a long time, where everything's done for you. You don't have to worry about finding new patients. You've got a list of them as long as your arm, and all that's handled for you, and all the other systems that you need are all handled for you. And then suddenly you're an accidental entrepreneur, and it's all on you to find new patients and have all these systems figured out, and it's a lot.
Yeah, and a lot of times we're always trying to kind of figure it out on our own, and we're always trying to reinvent the wheel. It's like we have everything at our fingertips right now, and it's funny because in medical aesthetics, a lot of times it's like we're all in on a business, but for some reason, are we really all in? Like if you're really all in, then you're going to do what's really important. You're going to invest on actually like growing your business brand, growing, how to get people in the doors, instead of, it seems like in this field, most of the time, whenever people are like, I'm all in, it's that means I'm all in on taking courses on how to inject. That's about it. And they keep doing it, right? So right now, I think this is the year that I find in 2024, people are starting to really get serious about understanding like this is a real business. And even though, the market is saturated, which it is, that saturated market, there's probably going to be 60% of those businesses that are not going to make it. And also within that saturated market, the ones who are still thriving or still up, they might not be thriving. I think there's actually probably about 5% of them that actually do really well and actually like hit their goals, because most of the time, it's unfortunate. They're trying to, cheat their way out by not investing in the technology of, the book or the information. So they're trying to buy their way out by just like spending money on ads on Google or something like that, but they haven't put any thought into it. And they don't even know if they're going to get anything out of it. And as a result, all that money is all their profit going to waste, instead of kind of like just investing in themselves and figuring out all these little hacks that you need to do anyways. Otherwise, it's kind of like, working a computer. It's funny because even at the previous clinic I was at, which was a not medical aesthetics clinic, they have an EMR, which is what they do their charting on. And no one knows how to use it. No one knows how to do all like the basic stuff. So they're always pissed off because it takes them 3 times as long to do their charting compared to someone else who knows how to navigate the system. It's like, just spend like a day, figure that out. And then after that, your life's going to be easier and people are going to be like, how do you do that? It's like, it's because you invest the time.
Really interesting. There's a few things you said which like resonate so much. One of them is, like you said, in this industry, the default is if I just do that next clinical course, my business is going to crush it. Like I'm going to have a queue around the corner. If I just pay another $10,000 and go on that next injectables course or that device, or I buy that device or whatever it is, it's like all in there. And then when it comes to marketing the business or technology to run the business or consultancy or coaching to run the business, I've played a few mean tricks in the past where I will set up a webinar or I'll do a post or something, and it's like, find out the one secret to grow your practice overnight. And then when they arrive at the webinar, I go, guess what? There isn't one. Welcome to the hard work that it takes. And I do that quite often because I'm reeling people in to make that point, because there is no silver bullet. Sorry, it's just going to be hard work.
I find it really funny. It's like you said, like they're willing to invest $10,000 to go to a conference, learn more about injection skills, but they're not really willing to invest $10,000 maybe on like figuring out just how to bring in people, how to make sure that people are coming to see you and you understand if it's what you're doing is working or not. And you're going to be able to pick it up on the fly and be able to tailor it on your own, because whenever you're starting in this business, you're not going to be maybe slammed with a bunch of patients. So you have time to find these nuances and then make it grow organically because you've invested that $10,000 or whatever it's costing. I don't even know how much it is, but you invested time at least to your brand. So today, let's go over a couple tips here on basically kind of like a couple things that I picked up from the book. I was like, okay, I gotta like go a little more in depth here. So you had like this little niche focus on my Google business.
Yes.
So why is that super important? Because I looked into that. I'm like, yeah, I gotta do more of that. So my Google business. Okay, what is it? And I felt like you're like, this is where it's at. Like if you want to like go in and do these little things, my Google business. What is it? Why is it important?
You guys have all seen this. Whenever you go onto your phone, you open up Google and you search for whatever near you, like a restaurant or a car hire near me, whatever it is, and you see those results next to a map, that's Google Local. And the profile for each business on there is the Google business profile. So at the time I wrote the book, it was called Google My Business. Now they changed the name of it. It's called Google Business Profile. But it's the same thing. It's your profile. So if you search, well, what should happen is if you search for the name of your business, it's the panel that appears on the right-hand side that has your phone number. It's where your Google reviews show up. That profile, I cannot tell you, Dan, how powerful that profile can be, especially if you're in this position where, you know, you've only ever stressed yourself out over Instagram and you didn't even think about that or know about it. It really can make a big difference. The reason is those kind of searches on Google, what they call a near me search, are the most trusted type of search. So when you search on Google, there's a few different types of format of result that come up. You see Google ads, which people are paying for. They say sponsored. You see the ones next to the map, which is the ones we're talking about. Then you've got other types. So you have your kind of traditional listings down below. Sometimes you see the little bit that says people also asked, and you see that kind of bit. The ones near the map are the most trusted for kind of a bricks and mortar service-based business, which we all are in aesthetics. And what it's allowing you to tap into when you figure out how to put your business profile in the top of those results for the searches that matter to your business, which are going to be certainly the name of your practice. That's got to be a given. But that's what we call a branded search when people are looking for your name. Then you've got what we call a discovery search, which is where you really can get scale, which is people that are searching for solutions to certain skin problems or concerns, certain outcomes that they're seeking to do with aesthetics that you can help them with, or specific treatment names or devices, that kind of thing. Anyone looking for help with that within, as an example, a 30-mile radius.
Yeah.
You want to be doing all the work that you can do to get your business profile in the top 3 results, because the top 3 results get 80% of all the traffic for each search term, and anyone below position 3 in that map result, they're all fighting over the other 20% of traffic. So this is why the prize at the end is so valuable, is because people making those kind of searches are at at what we call in marketing a high point of intent. But what that really means is they've decided to act. So they have intent. They are on Google looking for a solution to, let's say, acne scarring, as an example, or wrinkles, or whatever it is, because they've decided they want to get it fixed or get help with it. So they're already a good prospect because they have intent.
So what is it about the Google business? Because let's say like I'm on there. So what I took from like your book was saying like you can't just make a website and just leave it there. Like you need to update it like weekly, or you need to be on it all the time, and you have to really make it engaging, because if people are going to it, but they're clicking in and out, then that's going to put you lower on the rankings, right? So they need to kind of like make sure that you're engaging with them, and at the same time answering their questions, have like a little chat automatic thing that, you know, keeps them on. Like your job is to just basically keep them on your page as long as possible. That's what I got from it. And at the same time, everything that I'm doing right with social media, except put it in my website. Like I'm not even on there. I'm not doing it in my videos.
I mean, let's like unpack what you said, because we're talking about two things: your Google business profile and your website, two separate assets that you have. The things that you said about your website in terms of having the content on there that, you know, engages people, that answers these questions. Yes, really important, because if your website contains the content that answers the questions that people are searching for, you're going to be much more likely to show up in the search results for that. Then separately, the asset of your Google business profile. Again, what you said is keeping it updated is key. When you log into your Google business profile, which you do with your Google account, and if you've never done it before, you might have to go through the process of claiming ownership of your business profile. If it already exists, it might have already been created by Google and you have to claim it. Otherwise, you just set one up. Once you've got access to it and you have access to what is the back end, the control panel, there is so much you can do to improve your chances of ranking. So you have in there your reviews from customers, which you should be encouraging at all times within your team and your practice, is to get Google reviews, because they're one of the biggest impacting factors that will move you up the results. You have the description of your services and a service directory within the back end of that profile. So anything that's listed in there as a service, next time somebody searches for, let's say, dermal fillers, Ottawa, etc., if you've populated and optimized that Google profile, you've filled out that service directory, and dermal filler is one of the service offerings in your directory, you're going to then show up in the top of the results with a blue tick saying this clinic provides dermal fillers. Those are just kind of 2 or 3 of the ranking factors. I think there's about 80 in total. And they're all, the good news is, for most of these impacting factors that can move you up, most of it really is just form filling on your part. It's not something technical. You don't need some genius to help you with it. Most of it is just form filling. And really the overarching message is get into that Google business profile. Fill out as much of it as you can, and then on a weekly or fortnightly basis, make sure you're, number one, collecting reviews, but also responding to them, because that's keeping that profile active. It's keeping the activity of the business high as far as Google's concerned. Adding photos to it. There's a whole photo and video section. You can add new ones every week, which are maybe before and afters, or pictures of the practice or the team or whatever. You can add posts into it in the same way that you add a post onto your social media.
Just updating it will move you up the rankings? The
process of adding it, and it's also what you add. So the key strategy for what you add, it's really about making sure that the content on that profile contains all the key phrases that you want to be found for.
Yeah.
So all the things you can help with in terms of skin concerns, devices, and the content in there and on your website, the key to it, the trick, if you like, even though it's not, it's still bloody hard work, but the trick is to focus all that content such that it answers the questions people are searching for now.
As simple as possible, as easy as possible, as quick as possible.
Easy as possible, simple as possible. And the way to find out what those questions are is this amazing website, which I told you guys about in Switzerland, called Answer the Public. And you head to answerthepublic.com, put in any phrase. So if it's acne scarring, if it's anti-wrinkle, if it's dermal filler, jawline contouring, whatever it is that you want to be found for or known for, type that in. It will give you all of the questions that real people are asking on Google right now. So then you pick out the most searched or the most commonly asked questions. You write content that answers that question, and then you use that in your Google profile as articles on your website, and then you can even use it to power part of your social content strategy, right? For you, with your YouTube strategy, your killer strategy is going to be, and I'm you crushing it anyway, so take it or leave it, Dan. But if you create videos that answer questions that practitioners are asking about clinical or business questions, then your YouTube search strategy is going to crush it, because video is one of the featured things that comes up for any kind of how-to search. So for you and anyone else who's kind of looking to be an educator in the space, those are the questions you'd be looking to answer with your content. For the majority of people in medical aesthetics who are looking to attract the consumer, their content needs to be answering all the questions that potential patients have, and really basic ones for people that haven't ever entered the medical aesthetic field. What is Botox compared to dermal filler? Some people don't even know. What can you treat? What areas can you treat? Content that answers all these questions is going to bring you so much more traffic. Then if your website's kick-ass and it can convert them, you've created a whole nother channel which doesn't rely on posting on Instagram every day.
Yeah, and it's a go-to for question and answers. And when people start seeing that, it reminds you that, there's still people that don't post their prices on their website. And it's like, it just reminds you, if you can post price on your website, and if you're afraid of posting because maybe it's more expensive than the person next door, at least they'll know. People don't know, and if they want and they are willing to go to a website that's giving you answers right away, and if you can make it as easy as possible, people will keep coming back to your website, especially if you're updating it. And that's something that my wife and I are definitely going to be doing now, because we're taking it real seriously now. We're like, our website looks cool. We thought it looks cool, but it's not functional. Yeah. So we need to kind of update that, which is cool.
I've seen some gorgeous websites, which at first glance, I think, oh, whoever did this did a great job. And then maybe I'll speak to the owner of that business and I'll get a look at the data. And I'm like, well, shit, it's like a ghost town.
Yeah.
No traffic. Let's unlock some opportunity for you.
That's
because
right.
when you crack it, it's literally like night and day. Like the Google business profile thing that we talked through a minute ago, if I'm coaching somebody on that process and they actually implement what I tell them, that's the key difference. If they actually do as they're told in the nicest possible way, then they see a massive difference. It's the difference between kind of wondering whether the phone is even plugged in to getting inquiries. It can make such a difference to be in those top 3 results.
Cool. All right. So the next question, kind of a little off topic, but at the same time, really interesting, is I reposted something that you created recently, which is like a digital version of yourself. It's like the, AI version of Rick, and you made a post and it looked identical to you. However, it was speaking like German and Spanish and all these other languages fluently. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So what is this technology? Can we use that today? What are your top 2 AI technology tips that we could be using for content creators for growing our brand in medical aesthetics or online?
Yeah, man. Let's talk about AI. I just better confirm you are speaking to Rick and not Dick. My digital twin, I've decided to name him Dick. And if I'm honest, he is a bit of a dick. But we haven't quite got him right yet. He's a little aloof, somewhat arrogant, a little too camp for my liking as well. Quite monotone. So it needs work, right? But I see Veronica laughing. So AI, it's possible now to create a digital twin of Dan Julien, right? And there's a piece of software that I've been playing around with called HeyGen, which is what I've used to do that. And I say playing around because unless you're actually one of the engineers at an AI firm, there are no AI experts yet. We're all just playing with it and figuring it out. We're using AI in some ways in my agency and with clients. I am going to talk about where I think you have to be a bit careful with that in a minute. But the software that you're talking about, where I'm able to create a version of me that can create any video within seconds if I type the script in, and then do the same in any language. That's called HeyGen. You can start using it right now. It's terrifying, I will tell you that, because when you upload your kind of example video, so you'll put in there like a 2 or 3 minute video of you talking, then what it's going to do is ask you to record giving consent to the platform, that platform can then use your likeness to create videos. I thought twice about saying yes to that, but I did do it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm just going to say now on your forum, if any content goes out there that's like extreme, that's not me, that's Dick. So that's kind of worrying and scary, but it's also exciting and fun, and you can do it. And like the obvious use case for you would be take your education and make it multinational, you know.
Let's say I've already created a video on my YouTube channel about something. So I just put it in, like I give that video there, and then all of a sudden it creates another version of me. Does it look the same? Like, is the background different? Is it the same? Is it...
Did you see the one that I made a post maybe a week or so ago talking about Google Business, but it was Dick doing it and not me. That video I have made a similar video for real, but at the moment, the way the platform works is you can't just upload one and ask it, do this in German. What you have to do is you create your avatar by doing a couple of minute example video. Then you paste in the transcript from a video, then it generates the new one. So, and you can automatically get the transcript from an existing video. And from there, you can translate it into any language. I think there's some use cases for it. It's definitely not perfect yet. I still find it a little clunky and kind of weird looking, but it's not far off, and AI gets a billion times better on a weekly basis at the moment. So it won't be far away from being perfect, which then opens up a whole bunch of questions for all of us about, is that a good or a bad thing? What the hell's going on? Is video evidence in court even admissible anymore?
Yeah.
Like, I can make a video of you next week and, saying something naughty, and then we'd all be in problems. On the practical side, because I don't think that's yet practical for most clinics, it's fun. On the practical side, there are some really neat things you can do with just a couple of AI tools. The main one being ChatGPT, and it has integrated in it now image generation software as well. You can also use those separately. So there's one called DALL-E, there's one called Midjourney. Bing has their own AI tool for image and content creation as well. ChatGPT, I think, is probably one of the most stable, as it were, to use at the moment. I recommend using the paid version. It's only about $20 a month, that kind of thing. Why you have to be careful with it is if you're using it to create, let's say, blog articles for your website. What we've learned in the last 6 to 12 months is that at the beginning, like a year ago, you could create a piece of content using ChatGPT, put it onto your website, and it would rank, it would start to gain traffic. Over time, where so many people have done that and there's so much AI content already online, that's no longer easy, and original content is getting ranked much quicker. Instead, what you should be looking at doing with things like ChatGPT is use it to give you ideas or structure for an article, but then do the writing yourself within that structure so that it's an original piece of content. And then you can use it to create quite nice imagery, and you can control that with some simple prompts. It still looks like AI imagery, but some of it looks quite cool. If you're using it to maybe illustrate a point in an article, or you will have seen Tim Pierce's presentation a few weeks ago. All of that was AI content. It looked super cool. And he had, the nurse with the wings and all of that. All of that was done using AI. And once you get the hang of how to ask it to create these things, it does kind of blow your mind. And there's some new tools for medical practices now. There's an AI tool that will automatically take medical notes from consultations and things like that and store them in your practice management software. They're really cool. So I think AI, it's here, and you should be making use of it now, because if you're not, some things that you'd normally be doing are taking you 10 times longer than they need to now.
Is there anything that you would recommend for video AI?
At the moment, the only video AI tool that I've been playing with is HeyGen.
Yeah.
There's a new one coming out. I want to say Soren or Sopran or something similar to that ChatGPT have built that they're launching. And that is going to blow everyone's heads completely open, because you'll be able to create entire videos, even cinematic films, with a single prompt. Wow. And it's insane. There's a demo of it. I'll send you the link, Dan, and maybe you can have a look and share. But there's some examples on the pre-launch website where somebody, just as a test using that software, has put in show us drone video footage from the gold rush in the old days in the west of the US, and it created it. And obviously that never happened because there was no drone or video there. But within minutes, it's created a video flying through a valley, seeing all the people walking around in the 1800s, and they're real people. They're not real, but they look real, in the gold rush. And it's done it in minutes, and it's insane. So all of this is coming. This is why you saw all the actors and writers on strike because it's just nuts.
So one that I would probably recommend for people, because I'm always trying to like enhance my videos a little bit. Now I'm getting a little bit more detailed. I actually have a buddy of mine who's helping me, Mike McAllister, he's editing a lot of my videos, but we're always kind of like sharing ideas of like what's working, what's not. And the one that I think is working really well for most people who are kind of like do-it-yourselfers or just trying to like say like, how can I make my videos get captions really easily that are engaging? And at the same time, most of the time people want to, if they're just getting into it, the three things that I know that they want to learn are, how do I generate captions that look cool? How, get thumbs up here. How can I edit my video where I can stop any of the stalls? And how can I do kind of like a zoom effect so my video doesn't look as stagnant? And I think the captions app is probably the best for me. Like, the other thing it has is a teleprompter, or it reads it. I don't personally like using the teleprompter because it takes away a little bit more of that natural, genuine feel that I'm trying to portray, and that's something that I do with intent in my videos. But the other thing that it has the AI generator, where a lot of people get stuck on this, where they're always looking on the side, or they're looking at themselves on whenever they're recording any type of video, and then it brings your eyes right back to the center. And it does it automatically. And cool. For me to have all those kind of like four key things in like one editing app is pretty cool. And I think for people out there, if you're looking for one app to throw in there, I would probably say do it. I'm not affiliated with them at all, but it's a good one.
That's a great one. I use another little one called Zubtitles, ZUB, and you can create your kind of social post templates. It'll add the captions, it'll cut out the ums and ahs. They've introduced AI, so if you actually edit the transcript, it will then trim the audio according to how you've changed the transcript. So that's pretty useful as well. So if you delete an from the generated transcript, it'll also take it out of the audio at the same time. So that's pretty handy. There's another one that, Jake and David on Inside Aesthetics, they use a little bit of AI sometimes. If they need to go back in and change a word, they've been using a bit of software that learns their voice, and they'll type it over and it will add it back in. Just in case they said something wrong or upset someone or, insulted somebody.
I downloaded that ChatGPT app and I purchased it, and I've been using it a lot now. I just purchased it, I think, the other day, and I don't even know all the features it has, but yesterday I had it read out to me something, whatever I had. Like, it gave me, I'm like, give me 10 examples of whatever. And I'm like, and read it out to me. And there's like a little app, like you click it and it reads it out. It reads it out to you. Like, it sounds as if someone's reading a book. And also there's like the occasional delay. I'm like, what's going on here? I was like, the guy's reading it. It's very like eloquent. Everything's perfect. He's like, and then he continues. I was like, whoa, what's going on? And it happened twice. I was like, did I misread that? Like, did someone say in there? And they said it twice after kind of like 10 minutes of reading. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty frightening. I mean, in the early days of ChatGPT, I remember asking it, are you happy in there? Just answering my questions. And they've changed it now. In the early days, it said something that kind of scared me. It was like, I haven't reached my peak potential. In the ideal world, I'd be able to explore my artistic parameters and express myself. And I was like, okay, I'm going to shut the laptop, set it on fire, and chuck it into the garden. Like, what is going on? But they've slightly changed that now, and it will say, yeah, of course, how can I help you?
I'm going to ask you one more question about digital advertising and IG posts. So right now, a lot of people, especially during COVID, what I was doing was, if I'd have a good before and after, now they don't allow that. But if I had a post that I wanted to boost, for me, I would personally go in, pick like a group of people I wanted between 20 and 60. They're travelers, they have money, they like to shop, they like medical aesthetics, they're into fitness. I'm like, tick, 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 post, and I'd boost. Is it still worth it, me doing that? Or is it worth sitting down with like an agency or Meta or whatever to like get more out of it? Or are we missing something by trying to do that on our own?
Yeah. So are you talking about that little blue button on a post that says boost?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do that. Because, and you don't have to have an agency to do the other thing that I'm going to say, but when you press the boost button, you get maybe 2 or 3 ways that you can target people. So it will give you a few basic options. It's like the simplified version of their advertising platform. And you miss a whole load of other options for targeting people, which you get on the Meta ad platform. So it can be useful if you have a post that's done particularly well. Mm-hmm. So the algorithm has shown to you this piece of creative, as we call it, is liked by the algorithm. Then sometimes boosting that to just the basic option on a boost button, which is show this to people similar to my followers, that can work. That you can get reach from relevant people, but it's at a higher cost per result because you're missing a few targeting options. So I'm not going to say it's useless, but it's not as efficient, certainly nowhere near as efficient as you can get running a proper meta ad campaign. I think it's important to distinguish the difference. The meta ad campaign happens on the Meta business platform. There's a whole ad suite there. You can show ads to people that have been on your website before. You can show ads that are, like you say, traveling through a certain location. You can show ads to people that have reacted to a certain other piece of content that you've had in the past. You get so many more options. You can be so much smarter with it. You have different ways of creating the call to action as well. So you can send them into a WhatsApp communication. You can capture their details in a form, etc. So you don't get all the options for targeting and converting someone just hitting the boost button, but sometimes it can help. If you've already got a piece of content that's been shown to be popular, then you can kind of pour petrol on that with the boost button and get the max reach that you could get. But it's pretty expensive. You can actually compare if you've got the ad platform on screen 1 and the boost button on screen 2. When you're kind of slow and you're deciding how much money am I going to dump onto this? Yeah. And over how many days and how many people does it think I'm going to reach? And you're kind of playing around with that. On the ad platform, it tends to be much more cost efficient to reach and engage people compared to just the boost button.
But so it's basically, I'm doing what everyone else is doing that I was complaining about. I'm kind of like just throwing money the quick way, saying like, hopefully this will work, instead of actually sitting down with an expert and getting the analytics and understanding how much more reach I can get. And all I do is have to like sit down and, figure it out. And I think that's just like the example of this video for everyone is if you're trying to look for the cheat way out or the simple way out when it comes to bringing clients in, there's none. You're going to have to like sit down, learn the tactics and invest yourself into it, because otherwise you're going to complain because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what you don't know.
You all know this already, because you all know for damn sure if I walk into your practice tomorrow and say, right, here's $1,000. I would like to look 20 years younger by Friday, please. You know what you're going to say to me. Well, there. First of all, you're a surgical case, so no. But you're also going to say to me, it's going to take a year. This is the things we're going to do. This is your treatment plan. And you're going to have to put in some work as well with your skincare routine and your nutrition and whatever else, your SPF. So you all know this, but you don't apply it to yourselves often when it's about marketing or systems to run the business. You think, there must be some way I can get this done by Tuesday lunchtime for $10. Like, there must be. There just isn't.
That's right. So, by the way, if you guys haven't picked up or listened to Rick O'Neill's book, check out Black Belt Digital Marketing. But there's another book I want you guys to also check out too, which is the newest Gary Vaynerchuk book.
Is it Day Trading Attention?
Day Trading Attention. Yeah, it's amazing. And I read all his previous books before, but this one is just released, I think, probably within the last month or two. And I've been waiting for it for a long time, and it's great. So if you guys are looking for, probably a genius mastermind when it comes to understanding social media platforms and how to get business in through that, and he just wrote a book on it, and it just came out, jump. And these two books combined are basically going to help you understand how to navigate social media and the nuances of, what people are wanting with feels. And then when you're looking at generating business and to kind of have people come in and understanding, when it comes to how to get local clients coming in, this is where the Black Belt Digital helps out a lot. And man, I loved it, man. I appreciate you writing that book, and I appreciate you doing this Instagram Live with me, buddy.
I've enjoyed it. And you've made my day, because you've mentioned my book in the same sentence as Gary Vee. So okay, thanks, I'm done. I learned a lot from Gary Vee, and he, over the last 20 years, has predicted so many things that came to be true. So get that book and really absorb it, because he is the man.
I went on your website and you posted a little clip about it where someone in the audience, he was doing a live talk, and someone in the audience was like, listen, how do I get passive income? And he's like, well, what do you think passive income means? He's like, means sitting on the beach and I just get money. He's like, are you being serious right now? And he's like, I'm letting you know that doesn't really exist. He's like, unless you're, maybe have a Fortune 500 company and it's running on its own, but until that happens, there's no such thing as passive income. You have to put in the work. You have to bust your butt. And if you're in a business that you love, great, then at least you're going to love doing it, but there's no shortcuts.
I've seen that clip and I made my kids watch it as well.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
There's a bit of an epidemic in some of the younger people. It's not their fault. It's because of the content that's pushed at them. Of the glamour, they're driving the Lambo and I made this money in 2 weeks, and it's all a fallacy. And Gary is one of the guys that is out there fighting the good fight and spreading the good word that, guess what? You've got to bust your ass for 20 years. That's how most successes happen. And that's just the way it is. But get that book. It will change your life.
So, and if you guys don't know what you're doing, or if you need some help, then reach out to Rick. He's got a great digital agency with regards to marketing. And I'm also doing like a mentorship program myself as well, where I'm helping other medical aesthetics providers. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you're looking for tips on how to grow your business, then, reach out to one of us. Check out some of those books that we talked about. Implement the meta, implement everything that you need to grow your business. Don't just take the courses on how to inject. There's a lot of information out there that can help grow your business other than injections, and they're all really relevant, and they're all just as important, if not probably more important, when it comes to making your business succeed. Because taking these courses do not get butts in chairs. You need to make sure that people know who you are, and you have to make sure that you can appropriately reach out to them. So before we go, I just want to see, I haven't even reviewed any of the comments. Yeah, let's see if you guys have any questions. Wow, there's a lot of people who commented, joined. I appreciate it. Before and afters get you the most hits. I know. The thing is, the before and afters are super important. That Dan Lynch posted that. It's just, unfortunately, not everyone's allowed to post before and afters. I'm trying to actually move away from before and after posts, because I know Canada's like coming down hard on that. Actually, our college actually encourages us not to post before and afters. So we all have to be ready for that. And there are other ways to do it. There are ways like Anusha NP. She does a great job. If people want to see how to do, like, you don't have to post before and after pictures. You can actually have someone recording as you're doing some procedures in a very cool way, and it advertises, that this is what you do, and you don't even have to post it before and after. It's just the essence of you doing this regularly, and people love watching that, right? They like to see what you're doing. If you can do it in a way that's catching and satisfying with some cool editing, that's where it's all at. So
there's another really cool thing you can do, which is kind of the patient, if you get one that's open to doing it, telling their story after they've had their treatment, is kind of like a before and after, but it's not a before and after. It's them sharing their experience and how they feel afterwards.
I've been, and I wrote that down. That's one that I've been needing to do more, is just get clients to like talk about the experience, talk about, what they felt, how they feel now after they've had the treatment. Is it worth it? Stuff like that. Just, genuine content where people, don't have to show before and afters. They just have to talk about the experience, and people love that too. And also, if they're saying they look great and normal and not overdone, then that's a big bonus. The other thing too that I'm trying to do now too is go out to the community, right? If you can kind of go out and be more engaging with the community, great ways to kind of like build your brand. So that's it, guys.
Great to see you, dude. Take care of yourself.
Likewise. Okay, thanks everyone. Cheers.